I'm Mason Mount. You're listening to the London is Blue podcast.
All right, Chelsea fans, welcome back to our usual match preview at the London is Blue podcast. Your host, as always, Brandon, joined by Dan today. And in case you've missed it, we do a little something different on our match previews, right, Dan?
We do. We like to take the opposite sides, why Chelsea wins, why Chelsea loses, and Brandon continuing his theme of supporting why Chelsea are going to lose because he's a pessimist.
Yeah, that's why. Yeah, not any other reason. So with our match review, obviously we're going to be playing Sheffield United in the Premier League for our next match. It'll be this weekend. You know, we gotta see how it goes. We'll be at Bramall Lane, so away on the road to Sheffield. Previously this season, right, end of August, we drew 2-2 as we were kind of getting our feet underneath us a little bit under Frank in the season, and it was weird playing Sheffield, who had overlapping center backs. They played a 3-5-2. It was different. It was wild. There was a lot to take in. So the form guide, as we know it for Chelsea, we beat Villa, beat City, lost to West Ham, beat Watford, and beat Palace. So we've won 4 out of the last 5, which is really good. Sheffield, on the other hand, a little bit rougher. Lost 3-0 to Newcastle, lost 3-0 to United, flipped it, beat Spurs 3-1, drew an informed Burnley, if that's a way to accurately describe them, 1-1, and then most recently beat Wolves 1-0, doing us a favor. So now we have to hope that we don't do Manchester United a favor, Dan, as we take on Sheffield, who have slipped a little bit. You know, they're pushing for Europe. They're still in and around the race, but it's looking less and less likely that they're going to get it done. But, you know, again, from an informed guide, you know, both teams in a relatively good run.
Yeah, they are definitely in a situation where they are, and Chris Wilder has said in his press conferences that, yeah, it's great that they're in 7th place pushing forward, but they want more. They're a hungry team. They're going to be motivated with making sure that they make it into Europe. This would be I think the 3rd out of 4 seasons where they have been promoted or stayed up in a league. So credit to them. They play some great defensive football, total team efforts, and they have been extremely hard to break down. They are one of the lowest scoring sides in the top half of the table, but also one of the surest sides for not conceding a goal in a match as well. You know, they've conceded actually a couple more per match in these last few, with Newcastle coming back with 3, with United coming in and scoring 3 against them than they have in some of their matches prior in the season.
Yeah, definitely. 12 clean sheets on the season just kind of goes to that. But anyways, let's get to the exciting part, which is why Chelsea will win, Dan's position, and then why Chelsea will lose is the position I'm taking, again, solely to see where Chelsea might be out and worried. So normally start with why Chelsea will win. I can't be having that today. So look, copy paste, as I said last time out, set pieces, especially with Sheffield United. It doesn't matter who Chelsea play. All right. Set pieces are a massive concern. And then if you talk about form, their center back, John Egan, hasn't scored all season, has now scored on back-to-back matches for the Blades. So he's feeling himself. They tend to make it hard where they maybe will knock down the first ball, and then it's an absolute scrum in the box. And I think we can tell Chelsea aren't great with scrums in the box this season, Dan. So again, no surprise to anyone that my number one concern playing Sheffield United will be set pieces. They have phenomenal delivery, and they have an overall a tall team on average.
They do have a tall team. They are able to convert in. I think we've seen that we did a better job in the last match in terms of defending some of those set pieses. Drew was coming up and winning some headers. Zuma was looking better at being able to kind of clear out. So I think if we look at where Chelsea are going to be aware of danger, it is going to be on conceding the corners, conceding set pieces. And if we can avoid that, fingers crossed, put puts us in a better position. But ultimately, I can see that is a point of concern that I would have as well.
Yeah, that's why it's in my argument. Now, why do you think, what are one of the main reasons that Chelsea will win this match?
So I actually think counter to that, I'll go with the fact that Sheffield aren't good at scoring from open play. Mm-hmm. They are actually pretty poor at doing that right now. And I think we actually don't concede a fair number of clean shots on target per game. You know, we've been in single digits against some pretty difficult teams like Manchester City recently, where we've been able to do a really good job at locking down our opposition. And so ultimately, if we can avoid these set pieces, Sheffield do not have a good record at being able to score. Their top goal scorer right now is at 6 goals on the season. The Fleck, who is second with 5 goals, is an injury concern for this match. So ultimately, they score by committee. There's not necessarily an individual who's leading their team like Tammy is for us, or now kind of Christian has kind of come up, or Willian has come up. So I would be concerned if I'm Chris Wilder, if it's not a set piece, how am I going to score against Chelsea? Because we are not going to give them a lot of clear-cut chances, I think, to actually convert. And they don't have as many danger men as you would think.
They do have injury concerns, as do we a little bit. But to take that point, Dan, and kind of bring it to my side of my second point of, I think, why Chelsea could lose, is that they don't have a focus in attack. Their system is what we have to be concerned about. Again, they play a unique 3-5-2. This isn't even like similar to N'Golo Kante 3-4-3, 3-5-2. This is so unique. And I listened to the Coach's Voice video with Steve Holland, where he talked about when we did play the 3-4-3 with N'Golo Kante, teams struggled because we'd play it week in, week out. They would only switch for a week, maybe, to try to negate what we're doing. So again, Chelsea are going to have to adapt quickly to not only the positioning of the players on the pitch, to also their movement and their movement patterns. Because again, I know you're always trying to create triangles, but they do it differently. It's a unique situation. So again, will our defense, whatever we decide to do from a lineup standpoint, be able to track the runners, deal with the press? Because in a 4-4, 4-5-1, 4-3-3, there's always pockets of space you look for. In a 3-5-2 with overlapping center backs, that space is gone and it's different. So again, can Chelsea find those spaces amongst this team? I think that is a very big potential for us to struggle with, because we haven't seen it since August 31st.
I think to that point, though, where Chelsea are going to benefit is that I don't believe, and Chris Wilder's team isn't necessarily set up to defend for the full 90 minutes. You know, they were going back and forth with Wolves and really kind of blocking out the end ball. What we've seen actually is Chelsea has had a little bit of an easier time the past couple matches against scoring against teams that we thought to be our kryptonite. Thankfully, down to the fact that Christian Pulisic has just been an absolute assassin as he goes into the penalty area. I would caution VAR pending, because VAR has been abysmal the past couple matches. I think Christian will continue his run and probably earn another penalty in this match, given the way that he will make another incisive run into the box, and we'll be up 1-0 on a Willian penalty within the first 30 minutes of this match if Christian continues the way that he has, because that's something in terms of the attackers that have come in. You look at the teams that have done well. Newcastle did well. They've got Saint Maximin. You look at the fact that, Greenwood, Martial, Rashford, the attack that worked really well with United. We have an attack mainly led by Christian Pulisic at this point, who can do very well against even a resout defense like Sheffield United has.
Yeah, I hear you, but I'm waiting for your second point, because right now I'm up on you 2-1. So you got any other reasons Chelsea might win?
Well, I think the other one is that we are actually in good scoring form. We think about converted chances, where Chelsea didn't do a great job earlier in the season is that we left a lot of meat on the bone when it comes to actually being able to go out and win a match. What we're finding now is whether it's Ruben assisting Tammy, it's Willian finding his kind of cross into the box. I'm sure Reece will kind of deliver one assist at some point here before the end of the season. There's a lot going on from an attacking standpoint here, and I think ultimately we're firing on all cylinders in terms of individual scoring. It isn't just Christian. Giroud is scoring in the box. We've got Willian scoring. We've got Christian scoring. Hey, maybe Mount gets a goal again finally. I'm less concerned about a goal, who's going to score on the pitch. It's more about there will be someone on the pitch who is capable of scoring.
All right. Well, my third and final potential reason that Chelsea could struggle, more bad news. Billy Gilmour just had a knee operation, out for 3 to 4 months, so he is a long-term miss. N'Golo Kante is a short-term miss. Kovacic just returning from an Achilles injury. So again, we're going to expect, or we know that it's going to be Jorginho starting this time. In what formation? I'm not sure. But that means will be a defensive liability. Before last week, I said, hey, if it is Jorginho, it might be Billy. Well, Billy's gone, so it's definitely Jorginho that's going to be back there. I'm really worried yet again what our transition from offense to defense is going to look like. You've got guys that really haven't played together a lot in that midfield, whether it's Barkley, whether it's Mount, whether Kovacic does start right away. That small pool of 4 players hasn't had a lot of time on the pitch together. So because of that, I'm concerned that not only dealing with the new formation, these guys playing together, they're not going to be on the 100% the same page. So again, it's almost like our own undoing potentially if we can't keep that team nice and compact. So that is my third and final concern. Again, these aren't groundbreaking. These aren't absolutes. These are just potential things that I think could hit a stand. So your third and final point to kind of say why Chelsea can win would be what?
Impact subs. Frank Lampard has found a way to change the game time and time again. And so even if it's deadlocked, even if we concede a goal and run into a precarious situation, you look at where Chris Wilder has struggled because he really has a limited pool to pull from. He's got some really trusted names. Lundstrom just worked his way back into fitness for the last match, FPL legend. And, we're in a situation where we can bring on talent from the bench. If we do start Barkley, Mount, and Jorginho, we can bring in a Kovacic to restore order if we're finding that Berg is making it a little bit difficult for us in midfield. We can bring Callum back in. We can bring Tammy in later if they're kind of getting a little ragged and find those back channel runs that he can put together. So ultimately, I'm very comfortable with the fact that we think we have a pretty formed 11 that we should be going into this match with, and that with the drinks breaks, with the orange slices and Capri Suns, and then with the 5 subs, that Frank Lampard will be able to tactic his way to a result if necessary.
Well, Who Scored is predicting a 1-1 draw. At the end of the day, Dan, we know we want 3 points. How bad is a draw at this point in our race for the top 4?
It is not great. It would be bad. It's not good. I think that we need to win this one, and we need to win versus Norwich so we don't have any concern heading into Liverpool versus Wolves. I think we benefit that Leicester and United still have a match to play versus one another, which is going to, I think Leicester are done. I think they are going to continue struggling through the remainder of that last set of fixtures. So I do think Chelsea and United will be in the top 4 anyway together, but I would rather be 3rd instead of 4th.
Well, as the table stands, Chelsea in 3rd on 60 points, Leicester in 4th on 59 points, and Manchester United in 5th on 58 points. So that'll wrap it up for our match preview. We will be back with a full pod and much more at the end of the match. You can expect that, as always, from us at the London is Blue podcast. So until next time, Chelsea fans, you know what to do. Keep the blue flag flying high.